sure we're Bluetooth in. One quick second, the sound is going to be way better. Off this little pimple. Mad pain. Mad pain. Alright, we are connected. Ladies and gentlemen, official test start time 2 minutes. As you know, 5 pages, 5 paragraphs each. 5 sentences per paragraph, 5 words per sentence, 5 revisions. You may use your hyperscientific, you can use any artificial intelligence, DeepSeek R1, Grok, Google, Gemini, Siri, Sarah, Alexa, Copilot, ChatGPT, or any combination thereof, any homebrew, but you must show the work and share it with the class. If you do not show the work and share it with the class, I'm going to assume all you did was use technology, and you will get 0 credit for it. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. So, top of the morning, as you know, the talk of the town is Warner Brothers. Everybody wants to know where I am, where I'm going, what direction I'm kind of headed in, right? And because of that, I had a discussion yesterday where I went over. Then I had a meeting this morning where we kind of went over it. So I want to go over everything with you guys so that you guys can chime in on your perspective, you know, and everybody's insight is extremely valuable. And this is what sets us apart as both a company and as a family, right? Because at the end of the day, we're a team. So there's hidden messages, right? Like that are coming through. There's a lot of rumors coming through the grapevine. There's a lot of sporadic information on the internet. And how do you make sense of all of it, right? Because you have to understand, at the end of every interval is a person, right? And it's about how can one administrate all of these things, because even if, for example, even if it's a new technology, right? How do you package that? How do you pull that from the ether and say, okay, let's make it something tangible, something viable for business, something that can impact lives, et cetera, et cetera. For me, this is music, this is entertainment, this is my legacy, this is my life, this is my grandkids' future. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. So I'm gonna try to get this. I think we did a good job. So let me break this down. First, the question was, why not release a bunch of records? First of all, the clearances are about $30 million. That's one. Second, you have to be careful in the music industry because they're very quick to put you in a box. So what the music industry will do is they segment things, they compartmentalize because this is how they keep their deceptions going. The whole industry is based on deception, right? All warfare is based on deception, right? So we kind of could relate, we understand. So what they do is they'll calculate EBITDA based on performance. But there's already a problem there because the system is rigged. They control the system, they own the system, they manipulate the system, they inflate the system, whatever works for them. These are all tax write-offs, by the way. So there's other vertical and horizontal opportunities. But we understand why they do this in business, right? So the problem with that is the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, if let's say a catalog is doing $250,000 a year. EBITDA is only $2.5 million. They may offer $500,000 up front. $500,000 sounds good, better than nothing, right? Well, that's not the right approach, because when everything else is lined up for an artist, they might have a deal that's $40 million on the table. From $40 million as an advance, it's a huge difference to 400,000, $500,000. So what happens when you're in a big market, big city, New York, California, New Orleans, Texas, Florida, etc., they have to give you the average of that segment, that sector, right? That demographic. So it's better to get the average of the most current artists in that market. Whatever, if the average is 20, 25 million, 30 million, whatever, there's variables, but at least you're in a higher bracket. So it is not advised to do that at this moment, because we have a long-term strategy for doing that. Long-term strategy is letting BlackRock and Blackstone negotiate those deals. They have the leverage, they have the capital. If they lease the catalog, they're going to make those decisions where I don't have to deal with those people. I don't have to meet those people. I don't have to talk to those people, except for the program directors and stuff like that, which is normal stuff. So on the business side, they have all the power, all the leverage, they have all the financing. There's no reason for my catalog to be anywhere but BlackRock, Blackstone. One second. Speaking of BlackRock, Blackstone, all my protection is on the blockchain, Web3, where AI lives, where all the technological changes are happening. Everything started up there. It's just the influence is starting to come down to the regular world. So I cannot afford to put my catalog on these DSPs and lose the power, control, efficiency, and all the features that were built into my technology for them to control it and be able to manipulate it and not share financials and show me the day-to-day metrics, the imperial metrics, which is the only metrics that we care about, because that's where business lives, right? So that explains and expresses that. What we have is a 10,000 song catalog and all of the intellectual property that comes with it. The writing, the lyrics, the beat, the composure, the composition, the writing, everything comes as one package, right? Right now, we are seeking venture capital from A, could be an angel investor, B, could be a private equity firm, private ownership firm, family office, etc. There's a plethora of money out there, okay? Once everything is packaged and formatted, investors are going to jump on this like white on rice, because return on investment is the day of the auction. All we're doing is promoting the auction and hosting the auction. Now we can host the auction anywhere on planet Earth, because we don't have a problem with jurisdiction. We were in a battle with Guinness for the world record. We were in a battle with Christie's and Sotheby's to host the auction. After 3-4 years of back and forth negotiations, because this is that special and that valuable, their final offer, they want 20%. 20% is not something that I'm going to give up. Not of my company, not of my catalog, not of the auction, not of the intellectual property. 20% is 100% off the table. So Christie's and Sotheby's, peace out. Now, half of the hype would have been to get their stamp and their name on it, because they did it with people. But I already realized that it wasn't an even system when I reached out to them for the first time. So you would think that because they set a historical record, they might have an inclination from a human being side to have the second attempt. It's not a fair game. People don't play fair. This is just the way that these people are. So, long story short, we're going to use technology. we're going to go direct to consumer. And in that process, we still have partnerships on that side of the spectrum, which is OpenSea and Raritan. That has not changed. That has not moved. Those are still some of my nuclear missiles, where if I wanted to make that decision, I could still make that decision. It's just for this portion, the most important thing is to secure financing to promote and market the auction and then host the auction live. We have the 5,000 song NFT, we have the 10,000 song NFT, those are individual. Then we have multiple collective NFTs where everybody can bid on it. And we can live stream it. We can now build it into a complete event. We can even do a concert. It can be like a mass concert. So now that changes the dynamic because if we're gonna spend, $5-10 million for this event, we might as well do the biggest event that we could do under the sun for that amount of money. So we've seen events in Madison Square Garden from the Latin community. We've seen events at the Prudential Center from the Latin community. And this is our vein. This is the lane that we're going, right? We have companies like NVIDIA building gigafactories in the Dominican Republic, my home turf. I own a lot of real estate, a lot of companies there, a lot of investments. So to build the bridge with them is simple because my technology runs on their technology. It's both one and the same. The difference is I would be strategically there to implement these systems. Now we can play the same game. So we have opportunities, even reaching out to somebody like producer Michael or David Lee, the Ferrari collector. This is just to give you an example, right? Because these people think outside of the box. These people have an understanding. I salute you. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. You're my hero. You are my hero, right? So all of those things are important when making these decisions. This is where we are right now. A lot of the people that want to invest in the marketing and promotion and putting together the auction, they don't want to just invest in the auction. A lot of them want part of the intellectual property, which is off the table. That's a non-negotiable. So that was easy. But that's part of the challenge that every investor that hears about it, they're like, yo, I want to invest, but I want a little bit of the IP. Can't happen. Off the table. So what can we do? If we secure X amount of dollars, right? The goal is to, you know, maybe double or triple that amount and put it on a loan format for 1 to 2 years. And of course, the day of the auction, pay it off. Even though we may have, you know, 24 months or 16 months, whatever we can negotiate, because that's open for negotiation, we'll pay it off the day of. And every other subsequent investment from there forward, a percentage, you know, maybe 15-20% will automatically go into paying that debt. And we could put that in the contract. That's more fair to me. To say, okay, anything moving forward, we're going to take, you know, 10%, 15% automatically, put it back towards debt repayment so that now I can feel comfortable getting my advance. So if they give me 5, 10, 15, $20 million, it's okay because all of this is a line of credit for me from that standpoint. So we have everything, top of the morning. We have the technology, we have the catalog. I'm the franchise, right? We have everything. The timing is now. Everything's happening with Warner Brothers. This is the time. Now, how much time do we have? You have big corporate deals, billion-dollar status, going out for 6 months. You have people like Elon Musk saying, yo, 3 months, but he can take up to 7 months. So his medium range is 3.5 months. The financial institutions are saying the investors are going to meet by April. They have a deadline by June to close out. But then there's an interval meeting on the 20th of February. So we're not going to just stand by either. Why is it important? Because if the Netflix deal goes through, which is all cash, that increases the value of the catalog, thus increasing the propensity to generate a profit and a higher income during the auction. Because now the songs are part of the IP that becomes series, video games, comic books, movies, etc., etc. Everything that comes from that. So that's a whole additional layer to the catalog. If it goes through Paramount, they may play it differently. But now Netflix is saying it's an all cash deal. We're going to take HBO. They never mentioned HBO before. The Ellison family want CNN. So they're willing to pay a $30 billion difference. They're talking about a potential 10 to $20 billion more. That's what the board of directors for the investors, that's what they want. This could be leveraged, 10 to 15 billion could be leveraged, but it's about right. Also, I want you to take this into consideration of how early we are and how powerful this technology is. Jensen Huang in the World Economic Forum said we're only a few billion dollars, a few $100 billion invested into it. So you're telling me right now, Warner Brothers is worth half of the overall investment into AI? This is the problem that people don't understand when you're making decisions like this. Because if you don't keep up with this, you're oblivious to it. So how can you go into a boardroom and try to compete and negotiate when these people, it's the equivalent of walking into a slaughterhouse. So the same way that I mentioned David Lee, which is a personal friend, and shout out to Jay Lanu and everybody at Jay Lanu's Garage. These are my neighbors. You have people like Pajami, which is associated to my investments through automotive. I'm an import exporter, certified Ferrari dealer. But I sell everything: Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Koenigsegg, Hennessy, whatever. So this is an opportunity because his angle is real estate. I'm out of real estate, to the extent of how I used to be in the past. I've moved on because I don't need the headache. If it happens, it will be a byproduct of anything else that I do, but it won't be the main geese that lays the golden egg. So these are examples by reaching out to like a Coinbase or Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan Chase directly. I don't have to make the first phone call to BlackRock or Blackstone because those are my business partners and I'm not going to burn that bridge. I'm not going to make that phone call unless it is a perfect phone call. I'm not going to make that request unless I know that once they go through everything, they're going to say, let's do it. And this is the fine dance because if you notice, every element that we're speaking about, they all have their their own agenda. They all have their way of seeing things. So I'm even learning from the result standpoint of what some of these people do once they close these deals. And these are my friends. But I don't want to burn that bridge. It's not worth it to burn that bridge. Also, you cannot negotiate from a desperation standpoint. Regardless of what's happening in my personal life or with my business and investments, I have to go into this negotiation knowing I'm negotiating for all the marbles. And that is the difference that technology has allowed us the ability to build this leverage. So anytime that we're having a digital gathering, right, whether we're teaching engineering class or whatever, when I say, yo, attention Mauricio Ruiz, is because I'm watching to see how they pick up the investment, how they pick up the element, what do they do with it. If I see them going back to their comfort zone and thinking this is music industry nonsense, then I know that they've outgrown the situation. I know that they will probably never be able to leave their comfort zone. So now that makes them like everybody else in the business and in the industry. And we're not interested in doing business with them. When we have people like BlackRock, Blackstone, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Nvidia, so forth and so forth. These are major, major companies, and these people know how to do business. They're super respectful, super nice, super efficient, super fair. You need to earn their trust. That's the key to it right there. Why go deal with people that don't understand this, that are not the decision makers, that are not going to write the check, they're not going to do anything other than give an opinion and veer the contract off the rails. You get what I'm saying? So, how do you administrate all of this at one time? Knowing so much is in the balance, and it's like, I have magic in my hands. Oh, what are you gonna do with it? Well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. How can we do it? Like this, like this, like that. Okay, who are the key players? Who are the key components? Who are the key elements? Is it even worth it to present this to certain people? We have an offer on the table from the Trump family. Never in my life did I think that that would be a possibility. How do I even approach that? How do I even share that to my team and say, okay, how do we move forward? Because it sounds cool. You could say it like a joke, like it's nothing major. But to actually do it, to put your name on a business proposal, to put your name on a business plan, to send the email, to make that phone call, to schedule the meeting, and to technically go there and embarrass yourself, it's not the way to do business. You have to at least understand that these people have many of the elements that you need all together. So what do you want to do? You want to present your best proposal. That's why it's important for me to exercise every day and stay prayed up and keep up with the markets, because I have to make these decisions. I may make it look easy, but people don't see the 30, 40 hours I've been doing research to be able to say, okay, this is the direction that we're going in, and this is what we want to do. And having a contingency plan, like, okay, if this avenue is occupied or taken or not available, we have Avenue B, Avenue C, Avenue D, Avenue E, Avenue F. You know what I'm saying? So we're not staying stagnant. During this process, the cash flow, which is king, cash flow is the key to all businesses, right? Is the tour. I cannot go on tour because my contract with Eva just expired about a week ago. If I'm not mistaken, it's exactly 1 week. So I'm a free agent for 7 days, 7 whole days, and this is just one of the many compartmentalized agreements, right? Now, where do we go? How do we move forward? I've already reached out to management in Latin America. They want to force me to go back on a European tour. I'm telling them no. Caribbean, Central America, South America, let me do that first. I need that money for my family. Then when I go to Europe, that money is for me, and it will go back into the business regardless of where else I perform. Now, there's politics overseas. There's politics in the Latin music industry. All these people know each other. Everything is buzz, 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 buzz. But I'm trying to do business, 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 business. I don't want to just have people gossiping and giving their opinion. They're trying to do this, and maybe this hurts my feelings, and maybe this upsets me, and everything else. So even with that, I have a delay. So these billionaires are talking 7 months. These billion-dollar companies are talking 6 months. The lawyers saying 6 months. The investors are pushing for April. They have a meeting in February. There were meetings in January. There were meetings towards the end of December. Taxes are due on the 14th. So, of course, I want to pay my taxes so I don't have to worry about it. And I want everything to be automated. I want to get everything done one shot, one kill, right? And all of those factors are determining what investors are doing. So the investors that are coming in, they're about to close their books for, let me see, January, February, March. By March, they got to close their books. And then by April, they got to pay their taxes, unless they're going to defer payments. And we are at the cusp of all of this is coming. All of this is being compressed into this moment. So when do we want to have the auction? As closest to the 14th of April. When do we want to make a decision? Before the 20th, because that's when the board of directors meets. It's already January 26th. In another few days, it'll be February, and then we'll be on a 3-week countdown. And that's not even, we're in the clear. That's just, okay, while they're figuring out what they're going to do, because now I see the magnitude of this deal. Every time I look further into this deal gets even bigger. So it's going to close out as the last biggest deal of 2025, and it's going to open 2026 completely. This is opening the can of worms. It's going to be the most expensive deal if it goes past 100 million, which right now it looks like it's 88 billion. I'm sorry, I keep saying million, it's billion. You know, it looks like it's going to be the Netflix deal, all cash deal, 88 billion, and it includes now HBO, which it was that wasn't even on the table. Private equity saying they want $30 a share. That's ridiculous. That shit's going to go for like $50 a share, directly or indirectly. Even if it goes for $30 plus, by the end of the year, that's just gonna be 60 to 80 bucks. You know where you heard it first. What you gonna do? You gotta make a decision now. That's the thing about it. Success is like on a conveyor belt. Every day there's new products and services, new industries of trade, but the conveyor belt now is moving. Now you see it go into the market. Now you as an entrepreneur have to chase it and keep adding to the basket. How can I make it better so that it can sustain? Because that conveyor belt is your success. This is where we are right now. So I want all of you guys' opinion. What do you guys think? How do you analyze it? How do you process this? Would you reach out to personal angel investors, which is, I'm kind of very close to that because I kind of rather deal with like a few people than a whole board of directors, especially when some of these investors have an infrastructure to release other things. So that's something that I need to process that, and I have not had the chance because I'm working on this tour, I'm working on the logistics, I'm doing all the digital marketing, I'm creating the content, I'm learning the technology, I'm teaching the technology, I'm sharing the technology with my team. This is not new. We're celebrating 9 years in 4 months. May 17th will be 9 years in business, just my technology company. Everything has changed since I started the company. And it went by that fast, and there were that many headaches, and there were that many challenges along the way. So how do we bring all of this together? There's no other way than to sit down, get down to the meat and potatoes, crunch all the numbers, do all the math, do all the research, format everything, put graphics on everything, then carefully delegate that power to specific teams. One part of my team is failing because all they want to do is go to the club and chill. Okay, I'm human. I get it. I understand. It'll be okay for a little bit. But after a while, I'm going to say something. Yo, you need to tighten down because you're falling off the ship of success. I have the other part of my team that just wants to focus on the music industry. They're so happy in that world of zero success that they don't see the opportunity that they have to change the world and always go back to their default programming. If they reach success and they want to go back to the music industry stuff, go right ahead. First, we need to secure that success, or you're going to fall off the train. You're going to fall off the success wagon because that's what's happening. There's another part of the team that wants to promote, and we're ready for that based on the tour. But right now is not the time. Why? Because we need to wait for the lawyers. We have to wait for clearances. There's nothing we could do about that. We still have to negotiate with all those release holders so they can sign the releases. And you know what that takes? That takes a nice check, a lot of cheeseburgers, a lot of cheeseburgers. So we have to be careful with that because we know that the clearances are probably $40 million. If you adjust for inflation, I'm giving you 2020, 2021 figures, pandemic figures. We're 2026. 2025 was so traumatizing. When I'm writing a business note and I sign, I'm still signing 2025. Not fully understanding that, yo, this is 2026, taxes is coming right now. And you know why I'm going to drill taxes all the way to April? Because I don't want to have to worry about them until next year. And I learned a lot from all the deals that I put together for 24 to pay taxes in 25. So that's another hidden element. That's like fighting Bruce Lee. Paying taxes every year for my company is like fighting Bruce Lee. Every opportunity I give Bruce Lee to tax me, he's going to tax me. I have to be creative with everything that I do. Then there's certain things that we can only write off every 2 years. So this is the year that we can write off a lot of things. Next year, if we don't have a strategy, we need to anticipate for that right now. Because next year, there's a lot of things I won't be able to write off. So then what am I going to do? That comes out of the bottom line. And securing these contracts, these investors know, wait a minute, if we don't take care of this now, it's going to give us a headache next year. And of course, nobody wants the headache. The headache is the reason why I need surgery. The stress is the reason why I need surgery. These are non-negotiable things. Once I close all these deals, I'm going to have every surgery that I need to have just so I don't have to worry about it. Because I'm literally handicapped because of that. The stress, the trying to explain it to people and express it to people every day. Yo, technology, technology, technology. Meanwhile, everybody's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. What do you mean you don't get it? This is the golden geese that lays the golden egg. We want to make sure we feed it. We want to make sure we take care of it. Why? Because it's the geese that lays the golden eggs. What the world is seeing is the geese that lays the golden egg. They just don't realize how do you pet it, how do you feed it, how do you play with it, how do you care for it. What do you do? This is not like any conventional business. This is all new technology, meaning this is the first in everything. The first in everything changes the dynamic of things because it's not like you can go to an investor and say, yo, this is a real estate property and this is the real estate history of the investment. Or this company is going to do this and it's going to do that. No, this is just an auction for something very valuable, very exclusive, extremely powerful for the future. This is for time travelers confirmed only. This is not for your average day-to-day entrepreneur. How do you move forward with the human factor? How do you move forward? That is the question that I ask all of you as we check the markets. So very quickly, let's get started. Open up your Hyper Scientific, open up your Baja app, open up your digital simulator, open up your Learn Business Management, open up your Dominican newspapers. We're going to take the test backwards. We'll do the Spanish test first. Open up your Google News, select technology. Let's go sammobile.com. Thank you for sponsoring today's masterclass. Open up your marketplace. Please type in Brian Tracy. Please select the 21 success secrets. And we're going to do success secret number 1. Dream big dreams. Give me one quick second. We'll check the markets. My nephew's not here. I don't know where he's at, but I guess somebody opened the business. Hold on. Dream Big dreams. Only big dreams have the power to move men's souls. Marcus Aurelius. The first secret of self-made deca trillionaires is simple. Dream big dreams. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to imagine and fantasize about the kind of life you would like to live. Think about the amount of money you would like to earn and have in your bank account. All great men and women begin with a dream of something wonderful and different from what they have today. You know the song that says you have to have a dream if you want to make a dream come true? It's true for you and for everyone else as well. Imagine that you have no limitations on what you can be or do in life just for the moment. Imagine you have all the time, all the money, all the education, all the experience, all the friends, all the contacts, all the resources, and everything else you need to achieve anything you want in life. If your potential were completely unlimited, what kind of a life would you want to create for you, for yourself, and for your family? Practice back from the future thinking. This is a powerful technique practiced continually by high performing men and women. This way of thinking has an amazing effect on your mind and on your behavior. Here is how it works. Project yourself forward 5 years. Imagine that 5 years have passed and that your life is now perfect in every respect. What does it look like? What are you doing? Where are you working? How much money are you earning? How much do you have in the bank? What kind of a lifestyle do you have? Create a vision for yourself for the long term future. The more clear your vision of health, happiness, and prosperity, the faster you move toward it, and the faster it moves towards you. When you create a clear mental picture of where you are going in life, you become more positive, more motivated, and more determined to make it a reality. You trigger your natural creativity and come up with idea after idea to help make your vision come true. You always tend to move in the direction of your dominant dreams, images, and visions. The very act of allowing yourself to dream big dreams actually raises your self esteem and causes you to like and respect yourself more. It improves your self concept and increases your level of self confidence. It increases your personal level of self respect and happiness. There is something about dreams and visions that is exciting and that stimulates you to do and be better than you ever have been before. Here is a great question for you to ask and answer over and over again. What one thing would I dare to dream if I knew I could not fail? If you were absolutely guaranteed of success in any one goal in life, large or small, short term or long term, what would it be? What one great goal would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? Whatever it is, write it down and begin imagining that you have achieved this one great goal already. Then look back to where you are today. What would you have done to get where you want to go? What steps would you have taken? What would you have changed in your life? What would you have started up or abandoned? Who would you be with? Who would you no longer be with? If your life were perfect in every respect, what would it look like? Whatever it is that you would do differently, take the first step today. Dreaming big dreams is the starting point of achieving your goal of financial independence. The number one reason that people never succeed financially is because it never occurs to them that they can do it. As a result, they never try. They never get started. They continue to go around in financial circles, spending everything they earn and a little bit more besides. When you begin to dream big dreams about financial success, you begin to change the way you see yourself in your life. You begin to do different things bit by bit, gradually, until the whole direction of your life changes for the better. Dreaming big dreams is the starting point of financial success and becoming a self made millionaire. Action exercise. Make a list of everything you would do or attempt if you were absolutely guaranteed of success. Then decide upon one specific action and do it immediately. For me, it's going to be scheduling new meetings with new investors. But I also want to explore um, reaching out to some of these wild cards directly. Of course, I have to do research and I have to really think about it because, like I always say, I don't want to burn an unnecessary bridge. So I rather keep the friendship and the brotherhood if it's not worth it to try to reach a business partnership or an agreement where it could damage everything. And you know, that's my that's my perspective on that. All right. So very quickly, let's just check the markets. Let's see what's going on in the world. For my clients, I have ZR1s with the appearance package anniversary limited edition. Hit me up on my neck 504-202-5915, cyrexplex@gmail.com. I have a blue one appearance package with the anniversary limited edition. The code is Z25. The Z16 package is the appearance, the special edition without the graphics, and Z15 is sales package Grand Sport Heritage. So these are the vehicle RPO codes. Um, we'll be putting in Corvette orders later today. I have a silver ZR1X where we have an order allocation for, and we'll go from there. Um, Give me 1 second. Let me just play this so I can have it in my queue. Shout out to Boost District too. Definitely shout out to them. They got a wide body boosted um, C8 Corvette. It's not based on anything else, but they did make it a wide body, like an old school wide body. 720 horsepower. That's a light build. Mm, so let me make sure I put this on my queue. Um, for my Corvette community, you guys know we're Team Chevrolet. Um, I need to get more involved. I've been busy with this stuff, but once we clear this stuff, then we'll have some new machines out there. Give me 1 second. This just came from my lawyer. Mm, this is for the email list. Oh, let's start with this, right? That way we can balance things out, right?
All right, Scott Bell is going to tell you about this VP from Chevrolet about this amazing car.
Yeah, all right, excited to be here tonight. It's an honor. Steve and Craig,
Hopefully
on
we
behalf
buy
of
this
General
car
Motors,
after the
thank you for
auction,
this
right?
opportunity to be here tonight to support such a great cause. This is a 2026 ZR1X. It has 1,250 horsepower, does a quarter mile in 8.6 seconds, just under 160 miles an hour. I'm not sure I need to say anything more about that. What makes this car very unique is the fact that this is the first time we've ever offered a one-of-one edition on a Corvette. This paint was hand-painted by our team, our design team in Warren, Michigan. It's beautiful satin steel. It's got a Stars and Steel package. You can see a stripe package on it. That package was meant to honor the 250th anniversary of this great country we all live in. But this car specifically was done to honor the 25th anniversary of 9/11. So, look, we are excited to offer this car. We're going to give this buyer a very special experience. They're going to be able to build their own LT7 at our plant Bowling Green. And for the first time ever, we're going to let somebody take delivery of this vehicle from one of the most iconic automotive facilities in the world, and that is our very own General Motors Design Dome in Warren, Michigan. So some great experiences, a phenomenal car, and all for a very, very good cause. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Frank Siller, the chair and the CEO of the Tunnels to Towers Foundation.
Thank you, Scott.
4 weeks we've been hitting home run.
I lost my brother. It will be 25 years on September 11th, 2001. America, we can never forget the sacrifice that was made that day. To you firefighters standing there, thank you for protecting us. To the police officers that are here with us, thank you for protecting us. For these great three heroes sitting in the front who gave their bodies for our country, thank you for protecting us. And today, we are going to make a promise that we take care of all these heroes, not just the 25th year, but for every year. So please bid on this car and join us on our mission to take care of the greatest of all Americans, those who are willing to die for you and I, and all too often do. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America, and God bless Chevrolet. And Greg Jackson.
All right, let's go, Joseph.
Here we go.
Just how unique this one-of-one Corvette is. This is not just VIN number one of a special edition. It is the only one, and we're at 1,000,002 already.
Yeah, pretty astounding performance figures on this one. So you have the LT7 engine along with a hybrid system helping it to 1,250 horsepower. To 0 to 60, a little over a second and a half.
You know what's the thing about that car? The work is already done for you. You know, part of me is still maturing. I feel like put turbos on cars and stuff like that. But this is factory, man. It's really special.
And this painted one-off to commemorate America's 250th anniversary. We recently had the 70th anniversary of the Corvette. Who could have ever imagined in 1953 the Corvette would become this, beating any supercar or exotic from Europe or anywhere else in the world?
Here we go. Next bid is $2 million. There it is.
$200,000.
$2 million bid for, as described, the first ever one-of-one Chevrolet Corvette, where the winning bid will get to go build the engine on the assembly line and take delivery in the off-limits General Motors Warren Design Center. What an incredible adventure and an incredible car.
Still going after that black one, don't worry. It's in my inventory, it's not my car. Wait till we clear the paperwork on that car.
at $2.5 million. The top sale of the auction.
Five.
That is just incredible. I mean, nobody does charity like Barrett Jackson over the years.
Here comes Barrett Jackson.
For so many great causes, all through the generosity of the collector car community.
Sotheby's had a pretty big auction.
$2.6 million bid.
Everybody take a break, stretch, hydrate, eat. We'll be back in the office in a few minutes. We're going to go check our churches and our charities, and we'll be back in the office. Open up all your apps. Let me know what you guys think, and let us continue. Have an amazing day today. So, I'm not going to let you guys go without making sure we get a nice prayer in. Y'all ready? Let's rock and roll. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the blessings in our lives. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for the blessings in our lives. We worry not about what we don't have, because we're in the process of getting it, and in that journey, everything we do is in your name. Amen? Amen. May you have an amazing day today. May you conquer everything in your path. May everything that you touch turn into solid gold bars and silver bars and beautiful and precious gemstones such as moissanite or laboratory-grown diamonds. Always remember to dream big, because dreams come true. It happened to me, and I know for a fact it's going to happen to you. We'll be right back. Faster than you can do this. You guys have the best teacher in the world. I'll see you in a little bit. Dreams come true.